Rainbow Six Seas fans, welcome back to Community Cup Season 3, presented to you by us and organized by Fragnation. I'm Santa, joined by Aggressive. So, yesterday we saw the first best of 3 match, and today we are gonna see the continuation. We have Team HWA going against UwU. So, got to see how these teams are going to perform against each other and how the action would unfold. Joined us by Aggressive today.
Hello there, everyone. I'm really excited for this particular game because it's going to be Hasib Warriors going up against UwU. Now, Hasib Warriors, we all know them, we all love them. They are easily one of the best teams in Bangladesh for a particular reason. And we know that as well because this team has been here since the dawn of the era of Siege. Right at the very beginning, every single one of these players have been playing to their fullest caliber, especially when it comes to the side of Hasib Warriors. They've pretty much exceeded everyone's expectations. When it came down to season number 1, season number 2, they performed to their highest potential. And now in season number 3, they're here to do it once again, to really take out Team UwU and really give us a statement because the experience that this team has under their belt, just playing Siege at such a high level for so many years, have just proven time in and time out that they are one of the best teams, if not the best team in the entire region.
Yes, indeed. So it's a winner take all kind of scenario. So got to be ready. And as mentioned, if that's the case, then we can definitely expect a lot of action from the teams, and that's going to be quite entertaining as well. Now, moving further, talking about the prize pool, it's a total of 50,000 INR, out of which the winner gets 25,000, the runner-up gets 15,000, and the one with the third position gets 10,000, followed by 6,000 each by the fourth, fifth, and the sixth places. So everyone gets something out of the tournament. So yes, indeed, keep this in mind. And if you would like to participate, go ahead and contact us on the Discord. It's available on the socials as well as mentioned. So follow and subscribe. Don't forget about it. So yes, we are getting a call over here. We have Team UwU going against Hasib Warriors. So yes, as mentioned so far, quite excited for the match. And you know what? I'm expecting heavy set of battles between these two teams. I'm kind of like anticipating that Team UwU would give their best of the best, and Team Hasib Warriors are going to counter it as much as they can, and going to entertain us with the gunplay. Now, all this will happen in these set of maps. The first pick,
Of
Bank
course.
by Hasib Warriors. That is interesting. Bank is one of the map which I like a lot. Actually, my most favorite is Cafe Dostoevsky. All right, talking about that later. But Hasib Warriors picking up Bank, then Clubhouse being picked by UwU, and then Chalet being the decider. Any thoughts on this?
I mean, knowing Hasib Warriors, they love to pick up on the map of Bank quite often as well. They're a team that likes to go for a lot more of those finicky maps that not a lot of people like to play out because they have that experience, right? And when you have such experience under their belt, of course, you want to take your opponents who may be a little bit more on the, how do I put it, a little bit more less experienced side to maps that they generally don't want to be in. But when they players like B, DZ, Drish, they already know what the hell they're doing, especially on this particular map. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and just be like, hey, I'm a little bit scared because there's been a lot of big changes as well on the side of Hasib Warriors' roster. Baz has also come into the play. Exodus is just incredible, to say the very least, and Naughty or Shit is another big pickup, I would say, for their particular team that rounds up the entire roster. All of these players are just in tune with one another. They've been playing together and they've been friends for a very long time as well. So there's no question about the synergy that they have in their side, but the question is, whether or not the side of UwU are going to be able to give that same level of synergy on this particular map, because the map of Bank really does test you to see whether or not you're going to be able to build up upon the momentum or the space that your teammates are able to create on the defensive side or even on the attack side. And creativity will of course reign supreme. And knowing the members of Hasib Warriors, this particular map is one of the best maps for them, because we've seen certain strategies from their side that really throws a curveball to any team going up against them.
So any curve balls on the end, and they got to be ready for the same to make the home run happen, and from there take it further from there. So I'm quite excited for the match, as we have discussed earlier, and looking at the way the reinforcements are being done and the team is moving further, it itself kind of gives a picture that they have come prepared. Probably they have done their homework against their opponents, and if that's the case, then I'm gonna expect some heavy set of play. So here comes the initial ones while the breach about to happen. But in Bank, oh my goodness, man, this is one of the favorites that I have, because on Bank I have seen some amazing strategies being deployed and those being countered. So how UwU and HWU are gonna face off each other will be told in the next set of rounds. But meanwhile, the initial set of damage, and already one of them goes down with it. SMG Hasib Warrior making it a big time. Wow, indeed.
Wait, did he
Right
get
in the
shot
beginning.
from the drone?
No more peace.
I think he did get shot from the drone hole there.
Okay. That must be sneaky for sure.
A little bit of a haphazard start coming in early here, ladies and gentlemen, from the members of UwU here. But Drish is going to be able to capitalize just a little bit here. Get a good... Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I seems to be seizing a little bit too much here. I'm blessing the side of UwU here just in case they're gonna try to build upon the momentum that they're able to gain off of that one kill, but Drish needs to come alive here on that Deimos to really change things out at the end of the day, because the way that Hasib Warriors generally like to play, they carry that advantage early, and this is how the meta of Siege has developed in this stage of the game, where you try to fish out that early kill as that defender, and then you try to settle in towards your defensive positions. You don't roam as much anymore, but in some instances, when you are roaming, you lose out on that one player, and that's completely fine. Here, Drish, though, he's trying to go in for full clearance across the entire map, and you can see that the positions are going to be reigning supreme for them. The way that they're holding onto their side lanes, the way that the positions are just in a much more of a better light, you can tell that everyone else is just scrambling under that pressure. Exodus tears out the footsteps, instantly catches out Beat as he was trying to jump down from the side of the staircase, and now full control just being taken away as never mind. Deshli is going to be able to shut down one. Little bit of an equalizer here, 2v3 now across the entire map. There's still a chance for them to come on back into this, but because of that mute jammer staying up close and personal, he can't really jump the window anymore without the information of where the players could be.
Oh, this is going to be troublesome indeed. And quick peeks, let's see if that's work around the counter. But the 2v2, oh my goodness, man, that's a big one, but quite low on health. Had to pay a lot. Now, have to see if then can continued or not. But the way, and here comes a counter more. And meanwhile, the 2K that completely derailed the momentum. That was a sneaky play. And of course, it worked in their favor. And there we go. The round going into the name. Hasib Warriors back in the first victory.
That was actually such a good round coming out from them too. A little bit shaky, I would say, right at the very end by them giving away kills to Drish and Dizzy on a couple of those instances, but give them some consolation prizes, right? Give them that false sense of security that they can win this round so it ends faster. But because Exodus is just going to be that perfect anchor onto the side, and you have the Fenrir present and ready as well, just in case anything went wrong. Positions and of course the overall strategy done well for the members of Hasib Warriors, and you can see exactly why this map is kind of their playground, because generally no one will ever start with kitchen and office to be that first initial side. But Hasib Warriors, they're just that confident in their overall setup that they're just able to do so. Now it's going to be basement, one of the much more difficult sides to break into for the attackers, especially when the defenders have a strong foothold on that first and second floor position, because the amount of roam clear you need to do on the map of Bank is just insanity.
Yes, indeed, and all that happens particularly when you know the map and when you have done the homework properly and laid up a proper strategy and then walk in with the same confidence to bank the victory. And somewhere down the line, Hasib Warriors and they are doing it all. So got to see if that can be continued or not, and if UwU can derail that momentum, which is needed, because I said with this pace, it will not take a lot of time for Hasib Warriors to take away the lead. Is what my thought says. Now that's my thought, but if UwU has a different plan altogether, we can see something else happening on the map. There we go, the initial moves, and yes, the out is being covered, and this can be a sneaky play. The first one goes down just like that. Of course, just like the name, it's a dagger on the back.
That was so quick for no apparent reason. Instantaneous push. Hasib is going to be able to catch another one, though. His position a little bit revealed, but he does have the bulletproof shield right in front of him to make sure they don't get caught out in a really bad angle. C4 tossed in from the corner side. They need to be careful. Baz taking a very risky duel here over from the sidelines. They do have a couple of C4s being placed. The C does get a catch and run to the last player. He's looking for the fight and he's going to be able to find it. He's looking for more, but finally he shuts down this Warden, who's been a massive thorn to their sides. Hasib wants peace. That is for certain. He will do anything to gain it. Taking down 3 players from the side of UwU almost instantaneously as they try to break their way in towards blue stairs. Is now left to lick their wounds are going to be the members of UwU to try and figure out how to build this strategy up even further. Because with the positions that they're playing, it's going to be tough to break through. And they have nothing to really open up these walls either. Some exothermic charges in the hands of the Nook to really cause a couple of those problems. But at the end of the day, the positions are just far superior from the members of Hasib Warriors.
Oh yes, and here we go, a quick peek is all that's needed. The earlier elimination has kind of like paved the path, and moving in a troublesome matter, the last one standing has to go all in. Not a lot of time to work with and a lot of area to cover. That with half health, I'm not really seeing it happen. But if the player can get it done for the team, that's a different thing altogether. 1v3 scenario with half health, troublesome matter indeed, and has to get it done as fast as possible. So moving into the lines, but the way the setup is done, it's quite troublesome. A quick peek, and has been told no more peeking over here, but the other corner is covered. Quite an anchor. A little bit of angle is all that is needed. One graze of bullet and the player will get deleted out of the mark. And that's what happens. And it is Baz with the amazing connection. All that he needed was a pixel area connection, and that's what he did. Wow, indeed. Very well executed. Hasib Warriors going all in one more time.
That was such a good round coming out from them. Pretty well stabilized as well. They thought it through. They had the perfect positions, especially that Warden causing so many problems. Beat as well. Nearly bit the bullet there if Hasib just didn't need to reload that shotgun up till the very end. That's exactly what you're expecting from a team of this caliber here, ladies and gentlemen, as UwU really not able to break through a lot of these defensive lines being set up by Hasib Warriors. A good catch, though, from Dagger to do such a fast entry from the opposite end of the tunnels and running over in towards server. Even I didn't expect it to happen in the first initial, 15 seconds in a round. The Ash Rush is just something you can't really expect, even at such a high level.
Agreed, indeed. Of course, quite phenomenal play, and that has paved path so far. I'm expecting much more than this. Of course, so far, the teams definitely have showcased the best of the best. Now, looking at the way the connections have been done and the reinforcements looking quite good, Hasib Warriors with those 2 victories
10 seconds to go.
gain the
Bomb
momentum,
located by
and I'm
attackers.
certain they are going to take it further. Not gonna leave a lot of room for the opponents to work with, and UwU really have to make it certain. Otherwise, it's not gonna be that easy at all for the play.
Not in the best of spots for this one, that's for certain. As the Z Warriors now already giving away possibly a pick if they're not careful. It just runs across the front entrance there. It could have been a very risky fight on front desk if they were not careful with that one. Still a chance though, as multiple officer rooms have been opened up. As with so many of the players playing towards the hallway position, Blackbeard already up close and personal. C4 is in hand for the mirror if they want to toss it through. But knowing the Blackbeard, it's not going to be that easy to try and take it out just yet. And oh my god, Exodus! That was so quick and clean coming out from his part, taking down 2 players almost instantly. That's going to be your Lion and your Blackbeard almost instantly taken off of the table. And those are 2 ops that you need to try and rush these entries through. Yeah, you have a Deimos in your arsenal, but that one Deimos and a Raura is just not going to be able to do much unless you have your other characters to take those space.
Troublesome indeed, and meanwhile, couple more damage and deletions off the mark, and it's the last 2 standing against 4. Not at all gonna be easy for UwU to execute it, and time and again, that looked quite scary. Another peak. I don't think the Intel has been released so far, but meanwhile, a little bit of play that's gonna happen, and yes. Looking quite beautiful. Jumps in, tries to move, but gets deleted right on the edge. Oh wow! And the last one standing makes him move, but not again against Beat, and has been beaten the pulse. Quick takedowns. Of course, they played, and you know what, covered the angles that was very much needed. And Hasib Warriors, as we have seen so far, covered all the angles. I'm 100% certain they came well prepared for the team.
Doing well for a lot of these fights, and honestly speaking, it's that opener. It's a couple of opener kills that they're able to get to. Exodus in particular, just tossing out the Pokeball and instantly bagging the Blackbeard like that. I wasn't really expecting it because he found that perfect timing too when the Lion was just initially vaulting into the room, right? The fact that he just came into the room, then immediately Exodus went in for the peak as well, probably hurt the sounds. Maybe he had really good siege timing in his favor, but this is just about sending a message to your opposition, and the message is we are not here to have fun, we are here to win. And Hasib Warriors taking each and every point that they're doing really seriously, and with staff room and open area being taken once again, it's that indestructible strat from Hasib Warriors that we know and love for this particular map that could be initiated once again.
Yes, indeed, and it's gonna continue as well. 0-3 being the score, I would say at this point, because I want to see UwU bagging a victory, and then from there taking it further. I'm quite expectant the team can do it. They attempted pretty well, just that the damage that occurred, or probably the way it has been approached, something did not work in their favor, and it should not continue. Whatever is not working in the favor has to be corrected. Now, this particular round, let's say if Hasib Warriors can continue the streak, and if UwU can counter it, being on the attackers end, this is the time they have to get it done. Quite a good placement, the pancake in place, and some cover. And the breach intact. 3 minutes on the clock. Let's go.
Absolutely. We're gonna have to see where they're gonna go with this one for the side of UwU here. They're the ones under the pressure. They're the ones who need to try and make a move here. Trying to go from the basement side, which is actually quite smart from there, and try to go in for a bit more of a double-pronged approach with one of the players playing outside of office or open area window. But yikes, Dagger again taking a slight bit of damage over from that sideline. I really do want to know where that angle even is, because every single time these players try to peek, they instantly get shut down. Dagger finally getting an opening kill over from one side, but Vaz instantly answering back. Rooney is just still in check and in control. Calls do come through from the Dokkaebi to try and catch any of the players who are trying to be overly aggressive here. And the fact that Baz still up and running, still aggressive as all hell. B takes a back seat, and those are the Dokubi calls now gone. They don't even have anything to go in for the hacks anymore. And this is big for them, as now Hasib Warriors, they're the ones in control once again.
Not ready to go.
Once in control, of course, and that's going to continue. But meanwhile, like quick one from the AC, and there we go. Bar slightly in trouble, but doesn't look like, you know, they're not gonna stop at the juncture. Attempting and quite low on health. Not expecting the same, but wow, indeed. Bars one more time, precise connections, no room of error. And with that, couple more can just get deleted. Quite low on health. That's one of the big concern. And we have seen Hasib Warriors covering every angle possible, both expecting each other to peek out, but doesn't look like, you know, any room would be left out. And this is kind of a standstill moment for a couple of seconds, I would say. And after that, a deletion, of course, indeed. And there we go, it walks in. And just like that, followed up as well. Wow, indeed. Time and again, the player standing up for the team and getting the frags, the kills for the team, getting it done.
The idea that he had that perfect read as well, I'm pretty sure there was a cam or something present in the office room in that exact instance that gave him the call like, hey, there's a player pushing you from office directly from server room. And then he instantly took that turn. It's stuff like this, the small details, or even it could be the fact that we have the better Siege audio now here in Siege X, so he heard the sounds of the demos just slowly lurking on top of him. The fact that he was able to make that call, instantly flick towards his right side and expect that refract to be coming in, it's just beautiful to see. That's the experience, ladies and gentlemen, coming through from the members of the Sea Warriors. And even if, let's say, it wasn't a kill, 2 kills coming in from Raz, not your shit was close enough that he could have instantly come in and find at least one refrag and then play for the 1v1%. It's very well planned out, every single play being done by the players of Hasib Warriors, while on the opposite side of the spectrum, they're not really playing bad. It's just they're not able to predict how the members of Hasib Warrior are trying to play this map, which is a huge problem here in Siege, because if you don't know what your opponents are trying to do, then you can't really play the general, I would say, textbook meta of Siege and hope to win.
Well said. Reading your opponents is very much needed, and as soon as they can read and can predict, predicting is something not that easy unless you have played against your opponents quite a bit of times, or maybe, you know, have seen their play and have done it. That's a different ball to game altogether. The other factor which I would like to look at is adaptability. If at all UwU is able to, UwU is able to adapt to the scenario and the challenges that is being presented by Hasib Warriors, that can also, you know, pave a path. But meanwhile, what Hasib Warriors are doing is quite phenomenal, and you know, it's completely exciting me to the point, because for every challenge they have an answer, for every attack they have an answer, and it definitely seems as if they have come full prepared. Oh, talking about the same, the first frag.
To see where they're gonna go with this one too. Already the first initial kill is gonna be given away. It's gonna be Desi who gets a catch over onto Fatar. That is gonna be with the Chanka now taken off of the board. Maybe a little bit too overly aggressive from the sidelines, as they do take a 1-for-1 on either end of things. One position now revealed. They know exactly where Baz is, though. Now this could be a little bit bad for them if they're not careful. Pre-fire in position. Drish is going to be the one to get shut down again. Exodus on these lurks. He's just such a difficult player to try and get a hold of. He does take out 2, and even though he does lose his life, that's completely fine. And Daddy Blast, oh my god, hairline off an angle. He's going to be able to get a catch over onto his Zagger. That's an instant shutdown on the player. Playing from tunnels, and now it's all up to Desi. Tries to go in for the big plays, nade in hand. He does clear out boosters for just a tiny little bit here, but with the instantaneous push yet to come in, he doesn't really have any of the scans to really play for. All the members that could be close enough for the engagement, not as much anymore, and they're looking to go in for the head. Last player already spotted. It's gonna be C4 getting tossed out as well. Information, pings, pretty much everything out of the kitchen. Sing being thrown in his direction. He does take a slight bit of damage, but now that he sent the message, I don't think it's a good idea to peek him anymore. Otherwise, you're giving a possible 1v1 away to a Deimos.
Possible 1v1, and it's continuing. And you know what? It's the same set of players that I have been seeing going against each other, kind of, sort of. But again, less than 50% of health. A quick peek and a denial. Well attempted while the shot landed. But the configuration working in the name of Hasib Warriors. What an amazing execution. And the teamwork definitely showing up over here.
That confidence in Hasib's eyes as well to try and go
Yeah.
in for a shot like that up against Demos. Normally, when Demos scans you, you're just like, nope, I'm out of here. I'm never gonna come back here ever again. This is not my home anymore. But for Hasib, nah, he has that shotgun. He just pumps it up, and he's like, yeah, you come into my lawn, boy. You come onto my porch. Hasib. The man's gotten married, but his confidence and ego still hasn't changed at all.
Wow, indeed. Confidence, of course, and it's being shown. And it's quite a lot of no questions about it. We'll get into round number 6, and this is where we are gonna get to that match point situation. So let's see if it's for the team or for the opponents, how exactly it's going to work for. As of now, the preparation phase, and if UwU, come on, high time for you to get up and get ready, because so far it did not work. 5 rounds already went into your opponent's pocket, and from here on, if you're not gonna get it done, it's going to be quite difficult.
It's just one problem after the next. As now they really do need this round to make a turnaround for themselves. Let's pick up on that Kali. Tiny little bits of damage being done to Baz. I think he accidentally ran into something there. Probably one of the environmental fires, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget that CJX does add those in, as looking to see how far they can go for this one, as engagements already being taken out early here. Positions being given away. Kali takes damage though from the sidelines. Never mind, you'd expect the sniper rifle to not take much in these positions. Daggers immediately takes back seat, and Hasib just being an absolute nuisance to society. He had a pretty quiet game last time around when we did see him on stream, but today in season number 3, he looks to be that unstoppable force.
Unstoppable force indeed. 0-5 being the score, and already 1% down with Dagger off the mark. It's not gonna be easy for sure. The 4-man team trying to breach in. Doesn't look like they have a lot to work with. And pancake well placed. And around the corner, getting a peek and get the flag as well. Wow.
What?
Amazing play. Let's do that again.
Not like that, Exodus. What was that positioning? How are you alive even? You should be dead. But the guy's aim just knows no bounds. Still given the chance and the opportunity to do even more naughty your shit. In a little bit of a bad spot. Has the super shorty in hand to instantly go in for the big shots here. He gets a little bit too close for comfort. You have to be careful of what you expect from the sidelines of your shit. Already going in for that reload, has his players right behind him to give the backup that they need, and now it's all up to Beat to be the hero of the story, to try and maybe go in for a couple of big shots here. But remember what I said, that this particular map is the home turf of Hasib Warriors, and then picking up on this map, yeah, it just works because they know how to play these finicky maps. It's not that big of a surprise. You can tell that one of the main reasons why the members of Hasib are winning is just because of their pure comfort. All their players are just in proper tune with one another.
In tune, of course, indeed. In line, of course, indeed. No questions asked and no doubts about it. That's where the path is laid towards victory. And 6 rounds, one after the other. Straightforward, no opposition kind of, sort of, and not easy at the same point of time. Wow, indeed, I would say. Straight to the match point. This is one of those matches I haven't seen in a long time. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen such a straight streak. So I'm still kind of, expectant that UwU might make a comeback. Quite too hopeful, I would say. But at the same time, what's wrong in being a little hopeful?
It's
I
gonna be
got my
difficult.
answer.
I mean, it's gonna be a bit difficult, right? I don't want to be the devil on your shoulder, right,
Oh,
Santa?
no, no,
But
no.
you might put me on the naughty list for this one, but I don't think the members of UwU have much of a chance for this particular map, at least. Because map number 2, map number 3, yeah, there's gonna be a chance for them. Because it's gonna be their
Agreed.
home pickups. It's gonna be the maps where they chose to go. And I do believe on Clubhouse they might have a little bit of a better standing on what to do on that particular map. Because again, it's Clubhouse, right? Every Siege player knows how to play Clubhouse like the back of their hands. But on this particular map, that you can tell that the difference in skill and map knowledge is really coming into play. The confidence on the peaks for the angles for UwU have just not been there whatsoever. While Hasib Warriors, they just are constantly taking duels, taking fights, and they're just like, hey, we exist in the moments of the chaos, and we're just gonna be the ones to take those fights and be in full control. And on this attack side, that's where it's really going to be tested on whether or not they have a certain strat to go in for. And it seems like they do. Zero is going to get picked up with Baz as well, going for the glass. So they're opting for the plant strat, I do believe, where they open up the front wall, place out the smokes for the glass, and instantly go in for the kills. But they need to establish tunnel and server control quickly for this one to work.
Yes, indeed, control, and I'm gonna maintain the same a quick peek. That's a cheeky angle, of course. And indeed, on the other front, it's kind of looking as if, the attempt is there, and I can see a slight bit of change happening. Okay, this can be interesting. Let's see how it plays further, and if they can take it, but walking directly into the line, that might be a bit troublesome. And Dagger is the one who could get the first frag in, most probably. Quickly checking through the frags and the cams in position. The intel has been relayed. Now, UwU, come on, let's get it done.
I'm gonna try to get this hit going quickly. This beat in a pretty good position. They don't know exactly where he is, but with a little bit of the sounds being given, elevator is a hotspot for pretty much everyone. Drone work already being done by the members of the Sea Warriors as instantly goes in for that first kill. Little bits of damage being given from the sidelines. Pings are going to be coming across on the opposite end because of the alibi, but with Beat's position already known here, he can't really stay in this elevator position anymore. He needs to drop soon. Otherwise, he might be risking his own life. The drop position not really looking as strong as you would have hoped for. Instantly the push comes through. That's going to be the player back inside of towards blank vault, and a lot of the space that they could have had here for the members of have just completely been taken away. Hatches are going to get opened up as well, and now they're just going to try to win gunfights. If they lose any of their gunfights now at this point of the game, they're not going to be able to hold on to vault or even the open drop from office room anymore.
Oh, wow, indeed. And troublesome, of course. With 4v5, I mean, if it was the entire roster, it could have been a different thing that I can say. But with one down, and now that is also Dagger off the mark. Troublesome indeed. And the last three, slight bit of advantage. Hasib moving in. Not a lot of room to work with, and the close combat going in the favor as well. Of course, the last one standing, making a move. Does not have a chance, I would say, against 4. Meanwhile, the defuse and troublesome matter, man. Let's see how this unfolds.
Yeah, they're just not going to be able to do much of this one. 0-7 over the first initial map, ladies and gentlemen. It's a statement from the members of the Sea Warriors. Is it that big of a surprise? No, not really, considering the team that they did go up against. Very few squads can even go against this team, and the Sea Warriors taking this one away. It's just the reality of the situation, right? It's gonna be Din who's here instead of Hasib, but hey, Hasib is here with us in spirit. He's the captain, he's the team player, and of course he is the poster child for the team. And he can tell in this particular game he was not just poster child, but also a star fragger as well. Beautifully done from their side for map number 1, and if they're able to carry this momentum over onto map number 2, we could be in for a very quick BO3.
Of course, I'm looking forward for map number 2, particularly that UwU has picked it, Clubhouse. So while the first didn't go into the name, and probably what I would think is that Map 1 was kind of like a dry run for the team, or maybe, training grounds or something or so. If they have read their opponent in map number 1, that can definitely pave a path for Clubhouse. Now, whatever they learned or whatever they have assessed out of bank can be utilized in Clubhouse. Of course, the setup is totally different. The terrain is totally different. A lot of corners to be covered with, because Clubhouse is not going to be that easy. Uh, let's see. I mean, no speculations as of now, but I'm kind of like looking forward for UwU.
Yeah, I'm really looking to see what this team can really bring onto the table when it's a little bit more of a vanilla map, where they're gonna be the ones to be in that driver's seat. They're gonna be a little bit more comfortable to know what to do next. And I do believe that a lot of these players are coming back into CJX as well after a pretty long break. Like, let's all be honest, I don't think I have played normal Siege before CJX came around in almost 2 years. And when TJX came in, I just suddenly got myself back in towards the game, started to play a lot more. I found out a lot of more different strategies. But when you look at the members of Hasib Warriors, though, they didn't stop playing Siege. They just got better, and Siege X seemingly is just their proving grounds. The way that they've been playing, it's just showcases their improvement over the year as well. Yeah, you have players like Dagger, Reach, Beat, and DC on their side, but because they haven't played as much, I do believe you can tell that the gap in skill was just present for the map of Bank in particular. The scrims need to be there a little bit more if they want to showcase their metal moving forward. And map number 2, yeah, it's a bit more of an easier map, but it doesn't mean that your gunfights are just going to improve almost instantaneously. You need to work for it, because the way that Sea Warriors have been playing, they're not ready to even give up a single round to you.
No doubt in that. They're not gonna make it easy. That's for sure. That's for sure. The challenge would be quite higher, and compared to map number 1, I'm expecting it would be much kind of like double times, I would say. But okay, let's talk about the numbers a little bit. Hasib, time it again. Hasib wants space. Hasib wants peace, and he made that space from where he got those high number of frags. Kills along with Zirus at 11, bars, oh my goodness, 9, and then Natia along with Fatah making it done for the team. It's a team contribution, of course, indeed, and the top fraggers with the supports in place, they got it done. We have seen it, and we want to see it one more time in the map. So you know what, let's take a short break here. Let's get refreshed, fill up our coffee and popcorn. It's me, Sand. Okay, we are being told it's no break. Seems as if, producers are also quite excited to directly jump into the next one. So, aggressive, we have to, buckle up with the situation. And the teams are ready, it seems, just waiting for them to walk in. And we would be unfolding the action. So, meanwhile, let's take a moment back and talk about the match that happened, and how probably that's going to pave the path. We saw the angles being covered, and when it came to the close combat, we saw UwU, definitely they gave their best, but when it comes to Hasib Warriors, they always maintained that dominant hand on their opponents, and they got it done. It was not at all easy for UwU to get into that battles or getting into that zone.
Yeah, another one of the big things that I would always like to consider too, ladies and gentlemen, is that mental game that we don't really often talk about, right? You're gonna have some instances where, as a team, you're not really able to establish yourself mentally, at least, and it's gonna be a little bit of an issue, to say the very least, on some instances where, hey, as a team, you're thinking like, oh, it's just map number 1, 0-7 loss. We're going to be able to jump on down onto map number 2. But some teams just cannot really do that. Hopefully, they're going to be able to mentally reset themselves as well, because Clubhouse, it's not going to be any easier than the map of Bank, even if it is your own home turf. But we've just got the confirmation, ladies and gentlemen, that the players are going to be taking a little while longer to set everything up for game number 2. So we are going to be heading on down over into a very short little break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with one more R6 action. God damn it.
So,
It seems as like my input just vanished for a couple of seconds there, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, as I was saying, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the CJ Studio Cup Season 3 organized by Fragnation. And back to what I was trying to say, Team UwU are actually Team UwU right now because they don't want to get beaten up by the members of the Sea Warriors. Map number 1 was a slaughterhouse indeed. And in a lot of ways, you didn't really want to see it, right? Because it was a 0-7 scoreline on the map of Bank, a Sea Warriors pickup. It was kind of understandable. But now that you're going into the map of Clubhouse, your own pickup, you need to showcase your mettle for this particular map. At least take a couple of rounds away from a Sea Warriors. Things are not going to get any easier, yeah, but at the same time, just keep an open mind because UwU, they're not a bad team. Like, I need to keep on reiterating this. The players on the side of UwU are really good. They've been playing Siege just as long as any of the members of a Sea Warriors, but the team play and synergy that the Sea Warriors have in their arsenal by playing together and constantly playing Siege in comparison to the occasional Siege here and there possibly being done by the members of UwU, you can see that stark difference. Yeah, they know what the hell they're doing, but the Sea Warrior are just like 3 or 4 steps ahead of any plan that UwU are trying to make.
yes, indeed, and that a little bit of lead that they are gaining is kind of like paving a path towards a lot more. All right, talking about this one, Thunderbird, Cade, Amira, Castle, and Solace over here. Lion, Deimos, Grim, Ash, and Ace on the other. Quite interesting, and it's going to be a matchup, of course. UwU against HWL. Let's see. Hasib Warriors, of course, not gonna make it easy, and being the defenders, let's see how they are gonna make it, because so far what they've done in the map prior has definitely been quite phenomenal. I'm expecting a lot more from them, and whether it will be delivered, whether who would be able to stand it remains as a question and will be answered pretty shortly. What I want to see is a little bit of change, a little bit of unpredictable play, because so far what they tried, tested, kind of did not work. And as rightly mentioned by Aggressive, they have been playing it a long time, so of course they can make it happen.
Yeah, we're gonna need to see where they're gonna go with this one. A little bit of a rough start, I would say, at the very least, but Hakuna Matata, right? You don't have to give as many worries here to your opposition just yet. Take your time, take it slow, and build upon the advantages that you generally don't have, because the way that the Sea Warriors have been playing, yeah, it is a little bit, I would say, hard and difficult for you to get a good lead of, but it's not impossible. And you can tell that UwU already, they're showing a lot more comfort when it comes down to entering onto the map. They're not really running into a lot of lines aside that you could be worried about. And they have a game plan that they want to try and utilize. But looking at Baz, they're already trying to be risky with this one. Top shots being taken here as Hasib. He's playing the Kaid without the DMR. Now that's a big surprise, but what is not a surprise is Exodus just chucking out a C4 and instantly sending a person to Narnia.
One off the mark, and the 3v5 scenario not gonna stand tall, not for long. Oh, the approach. Let's see, checking around the corners. And of course, that's needed, but through the basement, it's been quite a cheap play. And both working around the time, but seems as if the speak is gonna be quite costly for the player. UwU working it around. Need to counter as fast as possible, but doesn't look like they have a lot to work with. Maybe Jack of the Hermit or the Flash can get it done. Have to see. But seems like Hasib Warriors are gonna go for the hunt. They would be attackers here. They're gonna walk in and catch the frag out of it. The first goes down. The other two around the corner. Not. They are being flushed out, it seems so. Yes, indeed. It's been late. It's not gonna be easy.
Is it ever easy whenever you're playing the game of Siege here, especially up against the Sea Warriors one by one? They're just carrying that momentum that they had in map number 1, ladies and gentlemen, not even stopping for a singular second here. Drish able to find a single catch onto the player who was a bit too overly aggressive, but these vertical lines aside, still they're going to be worried about it. They know his exact position. Yeah, they're going to be able to open up a couple of these floors, but with the footsteps being given away and Nadia Arshad just already prepped and pretty much gunning for this win for themselves. They're just waiting to see if anyone shows up in front of their crosshairs as ooh, don't know what they're going to be doing next, but Exodus, he's on the hunt.
Not gonna be easy, of course, indeed, and so far it definitely worked in the favor, the first victory, and this definitely lays a lot of momentum for the team to move further. Okay, and on the second floor, it's gonna be the play. Thatcher, Ace, and Dokebi on the other front. We have Mira so far, joined by Fender and Smoke. Interesting to see Castle and Thunderbird being common. I think they are quite comfortable with this layout, and that's what is needed. Come on, UwU, get the victory.
We may chant for them as much as we want, but until we do see a big change in their overall playstyle, it's going to be a very difficult one at that. The Warriors just have a better read on how this map is generally being played out, and that's kind of the reality of the situation that we all have to accept that UwU are just not really able to get a. Again, it's the same as what I've been saying before. Those reads, right? Understanding where your opponents are going to be playing early on so that at least your drone works are going to be looking a little bit better. One of the big things that I do want to see coming out from them too, though, is playing for the buddy system a little bit more. I do believe that they're just taking engagements by themselves way too often, and those kind of plays are really starting to catch up to them.
So a bit of reconfiguration is what's needed. I can understand, and if that can be done, but then again, if you say that if this can be done, that's possible. That might lead to a lot more of a scenario. Alright, so let's wait and see. And yes, I will still root for UwU a little bit, but not that much probably. Hasib Warriors have been showcasing the best, and they are showing that they can get that victory again on this particular map. So, waiting for the same. And here we go with the round in place. Have to see being contested, and through the basement it's been quite a bit, but through the second floor, have to see if that can bring a little bit of change.
Oh, not again, Exodus. He's gonna be cheeky with this one instantly with the blast that could be opening through from the front lines. Exodus just take a good chunk of damage in the process here. But has the C4 in check, can still cause a couple of the problems here from their side. The calls are not going to be able to find much value. But Yershid gets a good catch over onto Desi. That's a Dokubi instantly getting shut down, so the logic bombs no longer will be an issue for them. And that is pretty much a very strong attacker being taken off the board. You wanted those Dokubi calls to really give the Kali the information to go in for those frontal-sided peaks, but now that they can't really even flush out the players to try and go in for flags anymore, things are not looking that good. But Dagger finally answers back in time, catches Fatar, was trying to play towards the Logi office area. But now, what's the reset gonna look like here? So aggressive, Hasib. He just really wants to take that fight. Dagger's gonna be able to find 3 kills to his name. Never mind, take us down over to a 2v2 here. And somehow they're able to make it work. Opener from their side, as one after the other, the members of UwU, they're finally showing signs of life.
Wow, indeed, and this can be the first victory that we have been waiting for from quite some time, and if that's the case, this could possibly lead towards one more. What's needed is to get that converted, and if it can be or not would be answered by the players, but it's a 1v2, getting it down to 1v1. Dagger, the last one standing, has been quite phenomenal for the team so far. Have to see if can get the last frag out, and a quick counter move. This could be quite interesting a play, but I feel as if even Hasib Boys are quite prepared for the same. He has the angle,
Not
gets
like
it
that.
done. Dagger had no clue about it. I don't see that, and if you can see that, you can't fight it.
That confidence as well, right? To just go in for something like that. It is just insanity, to say the very least. You gotta love it when you see it, ladies and gentlemen. The way that the game is meant to be played here for the members of Hasib Warriors, Exodus in particular as well. He was not afraid to be that last man standing near the side of Logi office. Yeah, you got that first kill. Okay, it's fine because he had no idea where. Exodus was. After that first kill, you can see that Exodus, he was so confident. He left Logi office as soon as the sledge gave away on the angle, understanding that, hey, I need to take the space given by the sledge. I can't really be the one who's playing defensively. Walks straight up towards the bomb chassis inside of the bedroom, takes the fight, gets into a better position near the doorway because Dagger, as he's coming into the gym bedroom side, he has too many different angles that he needs to clear on, and with no drones inside of the side, everything getting shut down, plus with camera right in the back as well, they had all the information that they needed to go in for the best hold that they could have had on that particular side. Good work from the members of Hasib Warriors to make good on a really bad situation with Exodus. He is just a huge problem.
Huge problem indeed. Not leaving a lot to work with, and it's definitely it seems as if they come well prepared for this round as well, and they are making it done for the team. Quite surprised as well the way it's been handled, and Hasib Warriors doing it beautifully. On the other front, UwU still waiting for the action from they, and they have tried, tested a lot so far, none working in their favor. I'm still a bit of expectant.
Hope for the best, right? Let's see what your opponents can really do here. DZ finally answering back here. Fatar tried to go in for a run out from the opposite side of Garage. He's gonna get caught out for that one. But hey, that's gonna be the bandit for you, right? Taken out of the equation pretty quickly. It was a Maverick getting picked in as well, so the bandit, yeah, realistically wouldn't have gotten any form of value anyways, but you want to have as many players as you could possibly want. A little bit of a cheeky angle here from Not Yashrit. Try to go in for the shots, but he's just not going to be able to find it in the way that you would have wanted. Good positions overall as with that man advantage, they're able to open up a lot of these walls from the sidelines. But then again, even when they have the man advantage, I haven't really seen UwU show that much when it comes down to the signs of life for their particular team. They make mistakes, and those mistakes really do start to compound pretty quickly. Drish is going to be able to answer almost immediately for that trade-off for V3 now across the entire map. So much space to play around with, and UwU, they're finally in a good position to try and win out on this round if they don't watch out for fights.
Yes, of course, keep an eye for that and make it done. Meanwhile, the scenario turning in the favor. Seems as if UwU can bag the best out of it, but Hasib on space is still there. The top fragger from the team joined by it, and they, my goodness, I didn't expect that. Did not expect that to occur. Only the last one standing, not gonna be easy at all.
That's just siege timing for you, ladies and gentlemen. Nadia should just didn't really hold on to that angle for as long as he should have. Could have been a chance for him to go in for that kill, but the positioning just working out in the favor of the members of UwU. Fatar, again, maybe being a little bit too overly aggressive for his own good here. That kind of happens here when you're playing Siege, especially when you have such a significant lead. You tend to become overconfident that your opponents are not going to be able to stop you, and that is where you do falter. As UwU, the way that they have been playing just doesn't really give you confidence, but especially with this last round in particular, if you are fans of this team, you could say that they have a fighting chance in this particular round if the members of Hasib Warriors continue to be a little bit too overly aggressive. But as soon as the momentum and the pacing get switched up, that's where I really want to see whether or not the members of UwU have what it takes to hold their ground.
Yes, of course. I'm expecting the same. Thatcher, Demos, Ash, Buck, and Blitz. Pardon me. Ash, Buck, and Blitz. On the other front, we see Mute, Kaid, Legend, Tubero, and Goyo. Interesting composition. And I'm expecting one more victory from UwU, particularly from the prior way they got it done on the opponents, and got to see if that momentum can be carried forward or not. So far, they have shown a little bit, and that needs to be continued.
Absolutely. They have those perfect answers for their team. That's what you want to see here at the end of the day. As now, what do they want to bring onto the table? Blitz is going to be present as well, so this is going to be quite interesting. They are opting to go in for a little bit of a rush roam clear so that they can play for the vertical lines of sight a little while longer. I'm guessing that the Ash is just going to follow the Blitz through, just running across the entire map, clearing out on a lot of these key position angles, so they don't have to really worry about it. But even then, life is never that simple. You're going to make mistakes. There will be flaws for the overall setup, as you can tell that Hasib Warriors now a little bit more of a backhanded approach, especially after what happened in that last round for Tar, giving away his own life here as a bandit, having such a strong and powerful weapon to really work with. How do they want to play this equalizer of a scoreline? Ooh, they're taking it slow here. Already, a couple of the roam clears happening on the opposite end of the map. They have a good foothold here, to say the very least, as kitchen control is established pretty quickly. Vertical lines aside being taken on the Hasib. None the wiser for it. Beautiful for a skill to come through from the buck.
Execution, of course, indeed. One more goes down on hands of these and looks like that. Maybe it's a play for UwU. All 5 intact against 3. Not gonna make it easy and quickly converting it to a 3v3 scenario. Time and again, Hasib Warriors definitely they have surprised us a lot of times, and it continues. Maybe, possibly, this will tilt into the name, but got to see if they can do it or not. But this turn is not gonna be easy. The position is compromised. Not gonna go in that easily for sure.
Let's see where they're gonna go with this one too. Moving forward, it's not like, just as you stated, the simplicity of it all is just not yet there, as UwU still have to really fight tooth and nail for this one. So many of the different avenues that they still have to worry about. Ample opportunities yet to be given here, as Hasib Warriors, they do have a pretty good hold on the different positions of the map as well. They have perfect lines of sight almost everywhere. Blue control maybe a little bit dicey here, but knowing them, they have that safety net of at least a cam or something watching over to that blue stairs position. And as soon as anyone walks in, that's gonna be the red dot being given away. That's kind of the thing here. Why do you have a red dot on you, Dagger? Even I saw a red dot on the wall, and that just gave away the position instantly. Pass. It's good that he had the urgency to check it out in that exact position, but good God, that red dot is just something that you should not have on whatsoever, especially when you're trying to go in for a roam position like that.
Hip fire could have been 1-2, and that's a 1v1 scenario. Not is pretty much prepared for the same. No matter whole, that's gonna make a big time difference. The quick pick, the position compromised. Oh, the chuck! Troublesome. The splash didn't happen, and with this, leaves the room, but no, not before, not like this. R6X making it happen for the team. Of course, indeed, the peak had to happen, and the denial. I was quite expectant for the chuck to happen, and with the C4, seems as if I have to wait for more.
Yeah, it's just not going to be around for the members of UwU in this one at all either. But the trades have been a lot more better, so you can see that UwU are showing signs of life for this particular map. They're not really being as heavily outmaneuvered as they did on the map of Bang, as all their members are able to get a good read on what the positions are going to look like from Hasib Warriors, but they're just not able to clutch out the round when it matters the most. Especially going up against a Tubarao in that scenario, you needed to take it a little bit slower, but the Ash just kind of rushed that overall take and beat. Yeah, he's a really good player, but you can tell that Hasib Warriors is trying to force those mind games upon them, and a little bit more of a slower approach can do wonders for their team overall, as the setup's looking good, but they still need a bit of time to really establish themselves on this particular map. But time not really on their sides here either, because the rounds are slipping away slowly but surely. 2 more, and the first initial half of regulation is already going to be going on out, and they need those 2 rounds to at least get an equalizer for themselves, or take us over to a 4-2, because if it is a 5-1 scoreline, you won't really have those third set of bans anymore, which could be either make it or break it for your team for even establishing a possible overtime or even establishing a lead.
That's something to definitely look forward for. If it goes for such scenario, I would definitely like to see for the overtime. But meanwhile, the situation turning into the favor probably, and seeing it done. Expecting some more out of this. Whew, I got to see. So far, 1-3. Can we see a 2-3 on the board is what I'm waiting for. And UwU has to get it done. But Rishwat, slight bit of low, not gonna be that easy as expected. So,
I need to see where they're gonna go with this one. That's for certain. First initial kill already being done in the favor of UwU, so that's a big one at that. Exodus, he's been a big thorn on their sides for a lot of these rounds, just solo handling them for a lot of these fights. But Baz again answers back. These frost plays coming in from the players of our region is something that we don't see in any of the other ones. They know how to control this weapon to its fullest accord, and it's gonna be Desi though. Getting a big catch over on the one, expecting a player to be possibly pushing in from red stairs, going in for a big flank, but Desi just needs to get close enough to hack into any one of these camps, but Logioff is still a huge problem for them, to say the very least, as he instantly shuts down Hasib as well. Calls to come through, they have the information to play in for. And now, with the positions up and ready, Baz though still answers back. He takes out two, and that's huge for them as the Sea Warriors. They're still in this round, 2v2 across the entire map. Logicon's going to give him information that the player is going to be playing towards the side of Logi Office. Tries to go in for the upside down rappel to try and get a kill on towards him. And because of the positions that they do have, they need an entry to come in soon. But Baz is just going to be an absolute anchor. He's a unit just sitting inside of the bathroom position. And with Logi Office now being given away, they're playing full anchor inside of the site, and that's perfect for them.
perfect.
Oh, C4!
Ooh. I'm satisfied, man. That's what I was waiting for. Oh, wow, indeed. And it looked quite dangerous as well. Whew, oh, what a close to the round. Okay, let's get it done. UwU attempting a lot and Hasib Warriors stopping them time and again, and it continues. Seems as if the preparation is definitely working for the team at Hasib Warriors making it done. Thatcher, Demos, Ash, Dokebi and Twitch together on the other side. Bandit, Frost, Legend, K, then Goyo. Let's go.
Pretty much in full and utter control, ladies and gentlemen. One more round, and this pretty much could be a done and dusted deal going in the favor of the Sea Warriors if they're not careful. Mistakes made are just like stacking up one after the next. These faults are just building up way too often. And you can tell that the Sea Warriors are making a lot of very like small, minute mistakes in a lot of these rounds that, yeah, the members of UwU are able to pick up on. But when it comes down to these 1v2 situations or these 2v2 situations, the communication between the players are just not as apparent anymore now, is it, Santa? You can tell that they're trying to do their own thing to just push across the entire map, and the Sea Warriors just, they have that perfect answer, especially that C4 toss with the smoke being present. You would have expected them to hear that C4, but instead they just kind of gave that one away for free.
Good moves, I would say, so far. 1-4 on the board. Can definitely see a 1-5 and making it further, creating a bit of space over here. Trying a little different than prior. Whether it would work or not, go and wait. Of course, the breach in place, and so far, the way they have approached it definitely bear the part. But meanwhile, a quick beat, and with Z this off the mark, got to see. But we still have the other four who have gotten good number of frags, and oh, that's gonna be a sneaky play, of course. Dagger may get into a big time trouble, but the wall so far right between them, and got to see if, who gets the best out of the other.
Now, though, in this particular round, they still have to worry about one goddamn player who's waiting on the opposite side of the Maverick. Could have been bad, but instead it's gonna be. Wait, did Ashrit get a kill onto the player from the drone hole on the opposite side, or was that player down below? Probably was down below of red stairs. It's gonna be insane to say the very least, but God, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the Maverick finally going to be able to open up the frontal wall of CCTV at least, so that's going to give them a little bit of room to really play around with, but the Maverick's not going to be useful anymore after that one. This gadget not really giving as much value anymore as Dagger. Again, taking big chunks of damage here as you see Warrior just constantly putting the pressure on, putting their foot on the gas pedal here for the initial hit. DZ, good shot though, at the flick of the wrist to take out 2. He instantly gets answers back in kind, but with the man advantage in the favor of the members of UwU. Once again, they've been in this position before, but they've yet to really establish themselves. Again, the mistakes were made. Hasib answering back, instantly shutting down Dagger as he was trying to run in and take the free space over towards the garage side. But no, that was not free. They had to pay the price for it. And in this 2v2, all the advantages they built for are just already done.
Yes, of course, and making it happen time and again. 1-4 on the board, 2v1 scenario, and if Hasib Warriors can get this done, it's like a match written for them already. They're quite low on health and still gets the best out of it, gets a second as well. Is it? I did see Beat taking care of the last one. Oh my goodness, that was so close. And the quick check, 2-4. And with the side switch, Hasib Warriors on the attacking end. Being the defenders, they have been quite aggressive. Now being the attackers, gotta see how much action they can unleash on the opponents.
Yeah, they have to build upon this even more here as UwU. They've been finally showing those signs of life that we were hoping that they would a lot earlier. It's very good that they at least have a 2-4 scoreline to play with. It's very, I would say, respectable scoreline to have as you're moving on to the second half, but knowing Hasib Warriors, their attack side is just as deadly, if not more deadly, on the map of Clubhouse. If I do remember properly, in season number 1, the way that Hasib Warriors generally played this particular map, their hits are very quick and they're very precise. It's like a hot knife cutting through butter here. But maybe the members of UwU, they have a little bit more of a better understanding for this particular map, especially with the bans now coming through. It's very standard here in our region that everyone's gonna ban out the 2 hard breachers and everyone's gonna ban out the 2 breach denials, because nobody wants to play for anything else other than the bare old basics of Siege, right? You open up a wall and you instantly win a round. It seems as though that's the reality in South Asia.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Yes, of course, kind of I won't say exactly a textbook kind of play, but they are kind of following that flow. And rightly mentioned, if that can be changed, probably we can expect something better out of this is what I want to say. So far, alright, moving in 2-4. What I want to see is kind of like an equal as a scenario, whether it is possible, whether it's there on the board or not. We got to just wait and see. But so far, the way the map worked around, the way they worked around the map, kind of like let the so far. Now, being the defenders, if that can get them a little bit of edge or not, have to just see.
You know something? I really do wish that Ubisoft would already add another hard breacher character, because I don't really understand. We have 2 dedicated hard breachers in the entire game. Who's the third? Like, both of them get banned, and like now you just don't have anything other than exothermic charges. Then you need to bring it to even do anything on the map.
Ooh, I have to look forward for that. And yes, indeed, a bit more can be done out of this is also kind of lingering in the mind, and a quick peek at denial right in the beginning. And that's 2 through a very cheeky angle, of course needed. I believe that the revival would be possible, and back in action just like that. Hasib Warriors not gonna give it away that easy.
A really tough angle too for you to be in. as it is, of course, the Blackbeard, so they're going to be able to survive that one for a long time. But DZ, good one tap catching Hasib with his pants down for that instance. They have a lot of free space now because that's Blackbeard now completely taken off the table. They can't really play as overly aggressive as they would have wanted anymore. Overall position is looking good for the members of UwU as calm before the storm. Pretty much up and present as Hasib Warriors are trying to work their way in towards the building. Construction now getting thrown down, but these mirror windows can still cause so many problems for them if they're not careful. One could scan though from this demos, and they could just easily be done for because look at the positions that they're already taking too. They're making significant spacing mistakes, and the mirror is all the way down in the first floor. He's going in for a big flank and possibly a catch on from the side of red stairs.
Interesting composition indeed. Quick couple of initial frags, kind of leading towards the path. Have to see if this can continue or not, but the quick apple, this is I'm slightly expectant of a frag. Not so quick indeed. Both playing the time. And yes, indeed, the 4v4, we can see 2 quick kills, one around the corner right now. I'm waiting for the one, and yes, indeed, Dagger being the better one out of it. A quick 3v3 and the counter as well. Are both moving in and being denied heavily. The last one standing, gonna make a double kill over here. Gonna get a double kill. That's when can be worked, but no, the C4 ringing heavily. Here comes the third for UwU. Very well played, very well executed.
Also smart from them too. You can tell that the Hasib Warriors, yeah, they had a lot of free space, but they lost out on a couple of those key deals as well. Especially that fight over towards Gym Bedroom, that one loss over towards the dog pretty much put that final nail on the coffin as the Hasib Warriors. They were banking on that kill. As soon as they had gym control, then the player that was playing close towards Logi Office had to look at multiple different angles, but instead, he could just focus on the players coming in through logistics. He was able to shut down 2 almost immediately. And of course, you had that mirror right at the bottom side to make sure that 1v2 had no way of being lost. As UwU finally bringing in the pain, bringing in the hurt, and turning things around for themselves on this defensive side. But Hasib Warriors, they're not done just yet. Their attack, they had the proper idea, right? They opened up pretty much everything. They got those opener kills as well. They were able to play for the 4v4 position, but they lost where? They lost in the gunfights, right? And it just happens to you from time to time. You're not going to be able to win every single duel. Some 50-50s will be given away, but adapting to what to do next after you lose out on a 50-50 is what separates a good team from an amazing team. And looking at both of these squads, they know how to do the adaptation, but in certain instances, they just lose their communication and they start to make very rookie level mistakes.
Of course, indeed, and the quick read, the execution as rightly mentioned, and that's where it all turns around. Now I have to see, now that, UwU reached so far, for 3-4, we haven't seen this in the prior map. And you have been mentioning, they are the team that they can perform and get it done. And they did it. The shield in play, I'm expecting more. And Dagger on the other front, moving in quite confidently. DZ making the mark. Quite good play so far.
Let's have a good look.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job at this one, that's for certain. The fact that they're able to do it pretty consistently as well for a lot of their markers
A bomb has been located.
is what's really good for them, but overall, can't really count the chickens before they hatch just yet, as there's still a lot more open spaces that they have to worry about. As already B takes a backseat. That's her Mira now being shut down here early. Fatar being consistent when it comes down to taking that first initial frag for their team. That does get shut down here, but losing out your Mira in comparison to a Maverick is just a big hit in general, because that's a huge C4 that you could have had for those late round plays, and now without it, you're not really going to be able to find as much value in those late round positions, especially in that last round in particular. The main reason why they had such an easy time is because they had that Mira on that bottom floor position, giving them so much value. But look towards the opposite side of the spectrum, you can already see that the damage is being done here as Hasib Warriors are systematically breaking through all of the defensive lines of sight, being created by the members of UwU. It's only the Clash to really deal some damage and to bring in some pain, but looking at their overall positioning, they're not going to be able to do much. They're being shut down one after the next, and all of the members of UwU, they're just separated. They're not playing together whatsoever.
Quite interesting. DZ taking one immediately. 1v2 scenario, not gonna be that easy, but with the SMG play, it can be quite good. Meaning, while going for the plant of the defuse, and with this, we can see a 5-4. DZ laying a little bit of damage, but his position is quite better compromised. Both moving in, not gonna make it that easy for sure, but both going for the play. Oh my goodness, man, this is a close combat. We have been looking for shield with the shield. That's quite funny to watch, of course. Who gets the best out of the other?
I mean, one shield can shock you, so that shield is even stronger. He's just gonna wait in front of the entrance. This is just funny to watch. He's just like, what the hell do I even do here, ladies and gentlemen? It's the iron wall going up against the other one. And go in for the fight still if he wants to, DC. Just take out one in the process, but this is just one of those funny engagements that it makes you laugh. Welcome to Siege, ladies and gentlemen, because nothing ever makes sense here.
Of course, more C's needed, and this fun is very much needed indeed. Quite tense scenario, no doubt about it. That was definitely quite funny for sure. For a moment, it kind of reminded me of the Tom and Jerry kind of play. Tom with a shield, Jerry with a shield, going bash on with each other. Can't ask for it again for sure. Valkyrie in play. Let's go for the camps now.
Yeah, Valkyrie's going to be utilized to just give them a tiny bit more information for the overall roams, especially how Hasib Warriors kind of played that last round. They spread themselves out as thin as they possibly could, but they always had a couple of players close by to one another to really get those opener kills too. But the members of UwU, they just didn't really play together as a squad. Generally, you would have another player right close to the clash, so you could at least speak off the information that they're giving to you, but instead, they kind of went in solo, and maybe with this Valkyrie, they're going to be able to play a little bit better for the information. At least all the players are going to be able to gather it up and then make those calls accordingly. And plus, with those yellow cams that you can now do as well, it's just going to be a little bit more lenient overall on their approach. But I digress. As the members of UwU now, they need to turn things up from here on out, because one more round and the members of the Hasib Warriors, they get match point on the board. When you're in a sticky situation like that, it's not gonna be getting any easier.
Of course, not gonna be easier for sure. And with time running out and the scenario that's being turned off the mark, 3-5. And the next one, yes, indeed, as mentioned, so close by to the match point. Now, UwU, can you deny that? Remains as a question, and only they have to answer it with the play. I'm kind of expectant in this particular map that they possibly, because it's their home ground, and Hasib Warriors, they worked for sure, no doubt about that. Whether who would win the fourth, let's see. But meanwhile, trying to make a bit of entry, getting the cheeky angles, trying to get that initial frag off the mark. Have to see if who can bag it or not.
Yikes.
Oh no, they are on the taking, and while attempted. That was a quick one, of course. 4v4. Let's go.
That was a beautiful kill coming out as well. The upside down repel really causing the damage here, but you have to worry about the clash. A possible clash ban could be coming in from the members of Hasib Warriors if this is how it's going to be going. The clash has been a constant thorn on their sides for a lot of these rounds. Still, they do have the Blackbeard to just push their way in and cause even more problems for them, but these kind of very unorthodox plays is where they really shine the brightest here. As for now, UwU, they're just going to be playing things very slowly. They're not going to be risking much whatsoever. in these particular instances. Couple of openers here being on the bind of beat charges to try and play for the vertical lines of sight. Open up that flooring, really cause the damage, and make the enemy's underside of armory really fear the overall positioning. Footsteps heard here, and now Hasib looking for the player that's going to be pushing in on the side of server room. Slow peek out. He looks for the shot. He's not going to be able to get the kill though, and that's going to be the Legion. Was going to go for the instant run around from the side of Red Stairs. They're going to be able to survive. DZ again with the double kill being established. And this is just a done and dusted deal here. As UwU, they're utilizing the clash to its fullest to shut everything down.
A lot of room to work with. 1v4, not gonna be easy, but we are talking about Hasib wants peace, who has done it earlier, and that too in close combat, quite phenomenal. But with the shield in place, the traps. That took a little bit turn. Hasib gets it done. The time factor, not in the favor. 4-5 on the board. So there is a chance, there is an opportunity for UwU to bag it and take it further, and I'm expecting quite heavily. I was certain that Hasib wants peace probably can bag the victory, but with the time factor that didn't exactly turn in that.
Yeah, they just didn't really have such a good spot to really play for, right? So, I mean, that's another reality of the situation too, right? As the members of Hasib wants they were a bit worried about the clash here, but instead they got rid of the Valkyrie instead because they were expecting much more of a resistance, I would say, from the Valkyrie in particular in that last round of the clash. Yeah, it's annoying, but it's something you can deal with if your opponents don't have a lot of information to play for.
Information
Defenders
indeed,
protect
and
your bombs from being defused by attackers.
that kind of turn things around. What I want to see is a little more play, because so far what UwU did kind of paved the path for the 4 victories on the board for the name. Round 10, prior map, we did not see such kind of scenario, but on the second, being their home ground, they definitely made the mark. A lot of shotgun play I'm expecting, and Dagger on the other front, making it again. DZ with 15. Top fragger from the team, of course. Yes, so this play has to happen for UwU to go for the victory and stop Hasib from bagging the match point. And on the other front, we have seen what Hasib Warriors have done time and again against UwU. So quite a lot at stake over here.
Absolutely. This is exactly what you want to see in this particular game here, ladies and gentlemen. In that overall approach, it's gonna be a little bit more of a slower-ended approach too. It's what I'm really surprised about. As the Seed Warriors, they're taking things a little bit more seriously and differently, especially after what happened in that last particular round. They want to open up a lot of these holes across the entire map just to make the defenders really think about what they're gonna try to do next. Do need a slight bit of a breach though, at least they can jump through at the bare minimum, but on this fortified scoreline, Seed Warriors, they know they've messed up a lot here in a lot of these fights, so taking a bit more of a slower approach and this change of pace will do them wonders, that's for certain.
Oh wow. I was kind of expecting this to happen a little later, but DZ kind of like walked in. Oh, the second one as well. Oh my goodness, looks as if it is game and prepared for the round. Would you get the third? I'm looking for the 3K. Naughty, in a naughty cheeky angle. That's not gonna be expected, but seems as if the position slightly compromised and Zedus is moving in. Can most likely go for the frag over here and the kill. That's where it changes. A cheeky angle, of course. There's two waiting for it, and the reinforcements. And Bas gets the best out of it on the other corner. I thought so that would be Zedus walking it, but Beat gets the best out of it. The last one starting Dagger. Would he be the Dagger to stab or not? Kind of a cheeky one to say.
Absolutely. The way that the plays have been done too, from their side. It's just a pleasant surprise, to say the very least, of the way that they have been playing. The members of Hasib Warriors finally turning things around, especially with a much more of a slow-headed approach. They try to go in for those first opener kills. They then establish a strong support presence across the entire map, force the defenders to look at multiple different lines of sight instead of just focusing on one, and then they just kept on building on top of it one after the other. These are the kind of plays that you want to witness coming out from a team of Hasib Warriors calibers, not the small mistakes that were done previously. So the ban that they did go for, the Valkyrie getting shut down, just forces them to send out bodies to these different positions. So overall, they played the right thing, because they could have easily banned the Clash, right? Because the Clash was the biggest problem that they were having. But they identified that, hey, the best way we can beat the Clash is to force the hands of UwU to play in very uncomfortable spots. That's exactly what they did in this round to get that free win. So that adaptation was present from the bans here, ladies and gentlemen. And these bans are what's new in Siege X. Don't forget, this ban system really has changed how professional Siege is being played, not only in rank, not only in professional level play, but also in rank.
Of course, indeed. Quite a bit to look forward for. 4-6 on the board. I'm expecting 5-6. And that's where it can turn. But you know what? Hasib Warriors is so close by. I don't think they're gonna let it go that easy. And this is a round where they will for sure go all in. And being the attackers, of course, they have made the mark. And how they will take it further is going to be witnessed in a moment. A quick breach right in the entry point. They attempted the prior time. It kind of like worked the other way around. Waiting for it. Let's see.
I mean, it's gonna be a situation where they're still gonna be able to do the exact same thing, right? There's not really been a big adaptable change coming through from the members of UwU, but one of the bigger things that will have to change is giving away those opening frags. The Ella is gonna be there on the map to really be a nuisance to society, that is for certain. They have, again, multiple different lines of sight open across the entire map. They're trying to spread these defenders thin as much as they possibly can here for every single one of these fights. But that's the way that this approach is gonna work.
Yes, indeed. So close by. Match point. Yeah, almost there. All that's needed is one more for these makes it happen. The first one goes down. Most likely this will can get into a bit of troublesome bind scenario over here, but seems they are working it through. Good turn. And the counter has to be neat. Avoided the flash and the bang, but not for long. A bit of a stun, of course. This is what I like. The moment you expect that the entry is not going to happen, sending a counter move, that should most likely get a kill out of the scenario. And yes, indeed, on the other front beat, and they can get over Naughty. Down to 4v3 now. Let's check it. Oh, the C4 has been already utilized. It's about the frag now.
They're just bringing down so many of these players so quickly as the members of UwU now looking for even more, but Beat answers back, getting the triple kill to his name. He's up for the ace, but he's not going to be given the chance to do so. Baz finally shuts him down. That's a room control already established. CCTV now in presence, but they still have so much more ground to cover. 30 seconds left on the clock. Rotero drones being utilized for information at this point. Clear out even more of the utility here from the opposite side as Fatar needs to get this one done quickly. 20 seconds left on the clock. Jim needs to get jumped into almost instantaneously. They need information. They need something to really play for. Instantaneous stun over from the sideline. Dagger getting that first opener kill. And this looks to be going from bad to worse. He still has one more stun if he wants to utilize it, but he needs to pocket. But positions not really in the best of spots. He jumps in towards Jim, and it is going to be Dagger who puts the final knife into his back. Beautifully done here, ladies and gentlemen, from the members of Team UwU as they ran down the clock, down to the wire, and the Hasib Warriors, they needed to rush their strat, and as soon as they tried to rush it, they started to fall.
So that's something definitely to learn from, not to rush that much and to take the time a little bit to work it around. Most likely so that, you know, it kind of like worked and didn't work at the same point of time. So yes, run and gun not gonna work in the favor. Alright, with Capcan Clash, Asami, Koyo and Malusi in play. On the other front we have Zofia, Sledge, Demos, Ivana and Grim. Um, who gets the best? So far we have seen a fine bit of play.
Attackers need
Now
to
just
locate
one
and
more step
defuse
needed
as
to
many bombs
equalize
as
it.
they can.
I was kind of like expected that, you know what, Hasib Warriors will take it straight forward. Who has definitely given the best fight compared to the prior map. And now to the point. Still close by to the match point. Just one needed.
Getting pretty close in a lot of these fights, and that's what's really scary. Overtime being the point of reality now, as these teams are just
10 seconds
at
to
each
go.
other's throats for a lot of these rounds, and they're doing so well for these fights, and that's what I love to see from them.
Yes, indeed. The action and the play and how they are approaching over each other, that kind of like completely changes the game for both ends. And we have seen the fight. We have seen how who has approached on the entire front. While they could not back the first map, but on the second, right on the opening frag, Hasib gets the bigger one over here. 5-4 being the scenario right now.
Trying to force their way up here already. It's gonna be a pretty big pickup for them, because you being able to shut down on that Goyo. Yeah, the Goyo doesn't really have any more utility given to the round, but weapon that he has, especially with the 2x scope, is just always a thing that you want to have, to say the very least. Exodus trying to play this one slowly here, already worked up in a different positions. He's in a perfect angle in towards the side of central stairs. He's going to be able to make noise, possibly carry out a couple of these players onto his position as well. Then for the Moto player, the shot comes through, and Pete just crouches forward into the lines of sight of Exodus, and now that's Deimos being taken off of the board. You normally don't want to send your Deimos on a suicide mission like that, because your Deimos is the one that you want to have on those late rounds to just give you info. But instead, it's going to be the answer back coming in from Fatar. Good kill and a good trade, to say the very least. 3v4 now, still in the advantage of the hands of the Sea Warriors, but they cannot get overzealous in these positions just yet, because they have to work their way in towards the side. And Arsenal and Church, it's just such a difficult site to break into. And it's notorious to be one of those sites as well that if you have a clash on, the defenders are just chilling for free. They pretty much have another fourth defender being that shield. What? How did...
Swapping.
Pending?
Probably.
But that was surprising. Okay, can be possible in the heat of the moment. It's a 3v3, but that definitely gonna cost Hasib Warriors a big time one. Shield is on. Gotta see who gets the bag on the other front. A DZ, troublesome scenario. Yet you know what? It's a shocker. Oh, lovely peek and a denial. DZ, fantastically executed. He's known for the flash. Not gonna work. Down to the 3v2. Let's see if Hasib Warriors can get it done or not. Nori and Vada together. Quick fix is all that's needed, paving the path forward.
Going knee deep into enemy territory at this point. They do have flashes coming in from Naughty to just give him a tiny little bit more space. Good shot and a kill here from the sidelines. They do find another one. They're looking for more, and they're going to be able to finish it off. Never mind, ladies and gentlemen. Down over to the last 5 seconds in the round. You would have expected the Capcan to make a break for it in towards the opposite room, but instead he misses out on the shot. The Capcan was just not ready to go in for a kill there. The Clash was being shut down. It was down to the very last couple of seconds. It was 4 seconds in the round here, Santa.
Yes.
And then immediately they just turn everything on its head. The chaos in the situation that they were trying to build was just instantaneous. And that's exactly what you want to see here. Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of this BO3 series will be none other than the members of Hasib Warriors. But good God, that last round was a nail-biter of a scenario.
For sure, no doubt about it. Nail-biting moment. And that was pretty much expected as well. We knew somewhere down the line that Hasib Warriors will definitely take it away. At the same point of time, I was kind of like expectant a little bit that, UwU might, win. I somewhere deep down, I wanted UwU to win because I wanted to see the decider. Chalet, man,
Yep.
I'm missing the map, dude. I'm definitely missing Chalet over here. All right, probably tomorrow. Today, the matches happened quite phenomenally and quite exciting as well, particularly the last nail biter moment. That indeed is a clippable one. I hope that the producers have got it on the line. So, yes, fabulously played from UwU and fantastically answered from Hasib Warriors. They didn't leave a lot of room for UwU to work with, and particularly in their own home ground, taking the victory away, snatching it off their hands, fabulously executed.
Yeah, they just did such a good job on it overall, and you could tell that the confidence that each and every one of these players had is what's really giving them that significant edge to, right? To see Warriors, they're just in that perfect zone, and all of their players, especially on that attack side, you could tell that every play made was just all calculated. And right at the very end, of course, it wasn't calculated, but they were able to perform under pressure. And that's, I do believe, what was the biggest difference maker for both of these teams from map number one and also in map number two. The pressure is what really got to the members of UwU. In Hasib Warriors were just able to thrive in it. When it's a 3v2 situation, you need to have those perfect lines of sight ready and those communications in check, because you need to be ready for opponents to try something desperate. And the fact that the Capcan couldn't get that kill, let's say in this universe, he was able to shut down Fatar there. They would have won the round. It would have been overtime and possibly another round win for them, where it just ended off with them taking it all away. But here we do have the statistics for you, ladies and gentlemen, for map number two. DZ really did perform. He had 16 kills to his name. Beat had 13. And you can tell on the opposite side of the spectrum, Hasib Warriors didn't have as many kills on their players, but what they did have was proper team play and synergy.
Of course, indeed, pretty good numbers. 16 for the top fragger, 13. Definitely was a big time beat for sure. On the other side, a complete team play, 9 each for Naughty and Baz. What a fabulous execution from Baz time and again. I've seen some amazing play from the player. And then Zedus and Fata taking it away, 14 and 12 each. Time and again, Zedus made his mark on the play on the map. Let it be the entry frags or let it be the way it's been taken forward. Of course, Zedus was the one to get it done during a lot of times.
And they just have to go in for those setups here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be preparing the overall summary for this entire BO3 in just a little while, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, we're going to be able to see that one to see how the storyline has been for both of these squads overall. But I can give you the long story short. It's just that map number one, they didn't really have much of an answer. They just got outmaneuvered, outstratted in almost every single way. But in map number two, you could see those signs of life that the team really could do what was necessary for themselves. But that's kind of the thing, right? You have one map where you just were not able to do anything, and you can't really have that in a BO3 series. Maybe, yeah, in a BO5, you had that safety net of having one other extra map that you can play for, but in a BO3, you just made that initial mistake. It's going to be the summary now being pulled up in front of your screen, ladies and gentlemen. You can tell that the members of UwU, DZ got most of his skills on that second map, while everyone else on the side of Hasib wants peace. Look at their overall stats. Exodus has 25 kills to his name across 2 maps. Now that is insanity.
Of course, indeed, that's something, and it's a play to be remembered. It's an overall work. They worked together, they communicated, got the job done for the team, no room of error anywhere. Yes, indeed, maybe a miss here and there, that's quite possible. And during heat of the moments, we often see that happening. But overall, fabulous play, man. Yes, indeed. 25 kills to the name. Oh my goodness. 17 each over here for DDZ and Beat. So, had it been a little bit more play from UwU, it could have been a different scenario. But then again, you know what? If I say that if this happens, that happens, and if that happens, something else, we can never stop over there. So kudos to the play. I'll be definitely looking forward for UwU to play in the next set of tournaments. So yes, and A very well executed match and a play from Hasib Warriors, who would be moving forward to the next round. So, of course, best wishes for the team as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The Warriors, they really proved themselves to be the ones to get onto that grand final stage here, ladies and gentlemen. So the date is said, the time is prepped for them to really showcase to us that they are meant to be the winners of season number 3. But for the other side of the spectrum, I really hope that the members of Team UwU are not going to be sad about this one. They need to just reset themselves mentally and come back even stronger for season number 4, ladies and gentlemen. Because don't forget, season number 4 is already around the corner. We do have everything set up. We already know for a fact that it's going to be the case. So make sure to get on back over to the drawing board and come back even better, because you have the markings of a really incredible team. You just need to work out on your notches, and then you're going to be able to finish things off. But for now, that's going to be all that we have for you for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for stopping on by for all of this incredible siege action. Make sure if you want more siege action to check out all the links down below in the description. And as you are going to be down there, hit that subscribe, hit that like, and also hit that notification bell to get notified when we do go live, because tomorrow is going to be the grand finals and you do not want to miss out on any of that action, because that BO5 series is going to be one for the books, because season number 3 compared to all of the other season has heated up quite nicely. But for now, it's going to be your boy Aggressive with Santa signing on off. Thank you all for stopping on by, and we're going to be seeing you tomorrow with a lot more siege action for the Siege X Community Cup Season 3, organized by Fragnation. Good night and happy gaming, everyone.